The winter storm came down the mountain faster than anyone in Red Valley had expected. Snow swallowed the world, howling like a living creature, burying everything it touched. By nightfall, even the bravest ranchers stayed indoors, praying their roofs held and their fires stayed alive. No one traveled in storms like that. No one survived outside for long. Except him. Takoa, the Comanche warrior whose name the settlers whispered with a mixture of fear and awe, moved silently through the blizzard on horseback. His people called him the one who walks with winter, because harsh seasons had never defeated him. Tonight, though, something gnawed at him, an instinct he could not shake. Something was wrong in the valley. Something was calling him. He leaned low over his horse's neck as snow lashed his face, eyes narrow, listening beyond the storm. At first he heard nothing but the wind's vicious roar. Then, faint as a dying breath, he heard it. A cry. A child's cry. Takoa froze, straining to hear again. The storm nearly drowned it out, but he heard it, soft, broken, desperate. He dug his heels into his horse and rode toward the sound. Minutes felt like lifetimes. Snow piled so high and thick it seemed to swallow the world. Then, as lightning cracked across the sky, he saw it. A shape. Small. Still. Buried in the snow up to her neck. Takoa jumped from his horse before it had fully stopped. Kneeling in the freezing wind, he brushed snow away from the tiny face. It was a girl, no more than 6 years old. Her skin was ghost pale, lips blue, eyes half closed. Only the slow, shaky rise of her chest told him she was alive. "Little one, stay awake," he murmured, voice deep but gentle. Her eyes fluttered open. They were filled with terror but also hope. Mister, I see can't feel my hands," she whispered. Takoa wrapped his large hands around her cheeks, warming them. "You will," he said firmly. "I will take you home." Her trembling voice cracked, barely audible through chattering teeth. I tried to follow the lights. I thought it was my mama, but then the snow." Her sentence dissolved into sobs. There was no time. The storm was turning worse. Takoa dug frantically, scooping snow away with bare hands. The ground finally loosened enough for him to pull her free. The girl was so cold, so limp, she barely weighed anything at all. As he lifted her, her head fell against his chest. "Please, don't let me die," she whispered. His arms tightened around her like iron. "You will not die," he vowed. He wrapped her inside his buffalo cloak, pressing her to his bare chest so his body heat would keep her alive. Then he climbed onto his horse, tucking her close as they pushed into the blizzard. The wind fought them every step. Snow slapped his face. The horse struggled through drifts that reached its belly, but Takoa never loosened his grip on the small child. Her breath weakened, her voice faded. At one point she whispered, "If I don't wake up, tell Mama I tried." Takoa leaned close to her ear. "Little one, listen to me. Warriors do not give up. You hear, you fight with me." A tiny nod pressed into his chest. Hours passed. The storm refused to die. Takoa's own strength began to falter. Frost clung to his skin and the cold dug into his bones. But he pushed on until finally he reached the shadow of the cliffs where his people once wintered. There, sheltered from the worst of the wind, Takoa slid from his horse and ran to a small cave he knew well. He started a fire with trembling fingers. The girl was barely conscious now. He rubbed her hands, her arms, her feet, anything to bring warmth back. She whimpered in pain as feeling returned, but he murmured, "Good. Pain means life is returning." Bit by bit, color returned to her skin. Hours later, wrapped in a warm hide and cradled against his chest, she finally opened her eyes fully. "You saved me," she whispered. Takoa nodded. "You called, I heard." What is your name?" she asked. "Takoa." "My name is Lily," she whispered, smiling weakly. When the storm broke at sunrise, Takoa rode into Red Valley holding Lily close. The settlers, who usually watched him with suspicion or fear, froze in shock when they saw him carrying the small girl. They gasped. Some cried out her name. Her mother, pale and shaking, stumbled forward and collapsed when she saw Lily alive. Takoa lowered the little girl into her mother's arms. Lily reached back toward him with a small, grateful hand. "He saved me, Mama. He carried me for miles. He didn't let me die." The crowd stared, stunned into silence. The Comanche warrior they feared had risked his life, without hesitation, to save one of their children. "What can we do to repay you?" the town sheriff finally asked. Takoa mounted his horse, looking down at them with eyes like winter, strong, quiet, unyielding. "No debt," he said. "A child's life is worth more than fear." And with that, he turned and rode away into the dawn. But Lily never forgot him. For years, every winter, she would leave a small bundle of flowers at the edge of the valley, the place where snow once buried her. She knew he would see it. She knew he would remember. And legend spread across Red Valley. The story of the Comanche warrior who carried a dying little girl for miles through a killing storm. Not out of duty, not out of reward, but because even in the harshest winter, there are hearts warm enough to save a life.